All right, so here's a sample of what your work should look like for this test. I have the problem rewritten, and then I broke it down by the numerator and by the denominator, okay? And notice that I numbered every step. I have 1 through 7 up here, and I have 1 through 8 down here, and then I combine them. So here's an example of how you would be explaining all of this. So with this problem, I had to solve this through PEMDAS. First, I took the numerator, I rewrote it in step 1. After I rewrote it, I noticed that we have parentheses and there's only one set. Because there's one set of parentheses, this is where we start, and there's addition and there's division. Well, according to order of operations, division comes before addition, so I'm going to divide negative 900 by negative 30, which gives me 30. And I rewrote the problem. And then I finished off my parentheses by adding negative 62 plus 30. Negative 62 plus 30 gives me negative 32. And I left it in parentheses. I'm going to pause real quick. This part, again, is optional. You could have just wrote negative 3 times negative 32 without the parentheses, and that's completely fine. Now I'm going to continue. When I rewrote step 3, I noticed that I still had division, multiplication, subtraction, and more multiplication. Well, I have to multiply or divide first, and the first thing I see from left to right is division. So I have to divide 108 by negative 9. 108 divided by negative 9 gives me negative 12, and I rewrote the rest of the problem. Then my next step is to do the multiplication. Negative 12 times negative 2 is positive 24. I rewrote the rest of the problem. I have subtraction, multiplication. Well, I can't do the subtraction until I do the multiplication, so I do 3 times negative 32, or negative 3 times negative 32, and that gives me positive 96. And I have 24 minus 96. Well, 24 minus 96 is negative 72. So my numerator is negative 72. Then I broke down my denominator. First thing I noticed is we don't have any real parentheses that have operations in them. However, we do have exponents. And the first term that has an exponent is 2/5. It says 2/5 squared. So I squared 2/5 and I got 4 over 25. Then in step 2, I realized that I still had 8 squared. So I squared 8 and I got 64. In step 3, I noticed that I had addition, division, multiplication, and subtraction. Well, I have to either multiply or divide first, and since division comes before multiplication, I divided 66 by negative 6, which gave me negative 11. Then I finished off the multiplication and multiplied negative 11 times negative 4, which gave me positive 44. Then because I had negative 4 25ths, I realized I have a fraction and everything that's left is addition or subtraction. And in order to add or subtract with a fraction, I need a common denominator. So I got a common denominator. I changed 45 to 1,125 25ths. I kept negative 4 25ths alone. I changed 44 to 1,100 over 25. And I changed 64 to 1,600 over 25. So then I did the addition and subtraction from left to right. First thing I did was 1125 over 25 plus negative 4 25ths, which gave me 1,121 over 25. Then I added 1121 over 25 plus 1100, which gave me 2,221 25ths. And I subtracted that by 1,600 25ths, which gave me 621 25ths. So when I combined my numerator and my denominator, I got negative 72 over 621 over 25. Because my numerator is negative 72 and my denominator is 621 over 25, first of all, I know that I can't have a fraction inside of a fraction. So I need to divide my numerator by my denominator. So if I break that down, it looks like this. Negative 72 divided by 621 over 25. I know that to divide a fraction, I need to multiply by the reciprocal. So this becomes negative 72 over 1 times 25 over 621. And negative 72 times 25 gives me negative 1800 over 21. And my final answer is negative 1800 over 621. So as you can see, that took about 6 minutes. I had 7, 8, we can consider this 9, 10, 11, 12 steps on top of that. So I had about 20 steps, right? So plus writing the original problem. So let's say 21 steps. It took me 6 minutes to write all this out. Plus I had a little intro in the beginning saying that this is what your work should look like. Everything's in order. You can read everything. If I take a picture of this, which should also be attached in this post, you can see everything clearly. If I cannot read your work, I cannot give you credit. So make sure that everything is visible. Okay? Again, you're going to be graded on both your work and the video. I need to make sure that you understand how to do this. And I'm going to be grading this on a 4-point rubric, which is also in your syllabus, so you have that as well. If you make a small mistake, let's say you forget this negative, but all your work is right, you'll get a 3.5. Okay? If some of your calculations are wrong, maybe 1 or 2 calculations, no more than 2, you'll probably get a 3. Okay? Think of it that way. Try to be as accurate as possible. Try to be as clear as possible with everything. Again, if you do not turn in both the video and the work, I cannot give you full credit. I need both. Okay? So, hopefully this video was helpful to give you an exemplar of what your video should look like and what your work should look like. Let me know if you have any questions, okay? And hopefully you are having a wonderful weekend or had a wonderful weekend depending on when you see this video.